Right. Great to have you today. I'm delighted to speak to you once again. My name is Mwale Tochi. Um, you can find me in any of the social media platform, and my joy of standing on YouTube today to speak to you concerning how would you feel if you find solution to create multiple stream of income. How will you feel? I mean, think about it. The worst thing that can happen to you is not take decision. I repeat, the worst thing that can happen to you, wherever the part of the world you are, is not to take decision. Indecision can lead you to miss great opportunity that you have this year. I am an author. I've written 2 books on entrepreneur and then business. Of course, some financial uh, strategies and application that I have used in my multiple businesses I've created, ranging from real estate to technology and digital, and of course to logistics. Uh, these are my business niche, and of course, um, franchise development, of course, business consulting. These are the uh, the areas of my expertise. And what we do is we help business to be productive. We build businesses and help those who are already in business to build multiple stream of income, and to we help them to diversify, and we help their businesses to be prosperous. At AIM Global, where I represent in Africa, it taxes a Texas company from the United States of America, which I represent in Africa. So we identify small businesses, find their pain point, help them to put strategy, structure, and of course, customize services that will enable their businesses to be productive, to sell, because you have no business being in business if you cannot make sell. Okay? And think about it. I don't know your level of uh, income right now. I don't know. But imagine if you can increase your earning by 50%, by 100%, by 150% in 2025. And then build from that to 2026, 2027, 5 years time. Maybe you are a thousandaire right now. You can grow to millionaire, and then billionaire, and of course trillionaire. It takes for you, in fact, statistics has it that making the first million is more difficult than after you made the first one, and then up to 2 million, to 3 million, to 100 million. It's much easier to make 100 million than to make the first 1 million. And that's what we're going to be. Thank you for those who have joined today. I'm delighted that you're on this live broadcast from YouTube. I said, thanks so much for, I'm grateful that you joined. And then I'm going to be going straight to my Oh my, yeah, to what I'm going to be presenting today. Just want to share a quick slide, and then of course I'll go back to what I want to present for you to able to have an understanding, and we take it from there. Okay, all right, height, all right, okay. So I'm gonna go straight away without wasting time. Can you hear me? Wherever you are, are you there? Can you hear me? All right. Fantastic. So, how to create a product and service that sells. A guide to business success by myself. One. Imagine in a market today, sector. I mean, there's no sector that you can go into right now that you want to, maybe you're already a business owner, or you're already a dreamer, you want to create your own business, okay? But you're thinking of, there is no business in the face of the planet Earth that you have no competitors. and for you to build from the ground to discover a new service that has not been existent will take you a bunch of time. And then for you now to compete with those who are already playing big in that particular sector, you need to come up with something uniquely different from what the already players are doing at the moment. And then my job as an entrepreneur, a coach, a consultant, is to bring the best and show you the strategy, proven strategy, tested strategy. I'm not talking theory, tickle here. I have applied those strategies and then in my businesses. And that's what I want to give you today. So I want to show you those strategies that can make you to be successful in 2025 and beyond. But bear with you, I'm not preaching quick, rich strategy here that you'll hear from uh, uh, speakers all around the world. The majority of the speakers and my colleagues, they speak quick, rich, and quick wealth, quick money. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the strategy that will guide you. And I'm going to be reading from my notes that I have already taken together. And I'm going to make sure that those things are the things that you're going to be apply in your business, whether you're a working class, whether you're a business owner, a small business owner, or a large business owner. This strategy work across board. So the first thing you need to do is to find pain points. Okay, number one, find step one is to define the pain point, the problem. The pain point is the problem. What problem do you want to solve? Number one, what problem have you identified? You are, whether you are in the first world, in the second world, or third world, people have problems. Okay, your job as someone who want to create value for people and to earn their money is to identify the problem. Once you identify the problem, and then you ask yourself, what is the opportunity there? What is the opportunity that you are going to leverage on to be able to create business? And then every great product or service solve a specific problem. Right. You heard me right. You have services or products. There must be something that you are trying to solve. If you, for example, you own a pharmaceutical company, or probably you own, say, a tech company, so you are either creating a software, building a software, or you are either building products. The product could be electronics, it could be spare parts of those phone accessories or whatever, or you are creating a cloud based service. So, whatever the part of the industry, whether you are a manufacturer of food, which is essential in life, so there is a problem that you have identified, the gap you've identified in the marketplace that you want to fill. So if you don't have those things outlined from day one, then the next thing you need to think about is no product, like I said before, in the entire universe that do not solve a particular problem. They tackle a particular problem. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying, if you are confused right now, if your financial situation is okay, but if you want to build wealth, I mean, wealth that will outlive you, a generational wealth, then you have to be intentional. You have to be strategic. You have to outline the strategy, the step by step on how you want to build this wealth. It does not happen overnight. You have to be intentional. You have to plan. You have to read. You have to research. And that's exactly what I'm going to be talking to you today. So now, once you have identified that problem, the opportunity in that particular sector that you want, service or product. There are two type of human being or human need on earth. Is it that you are solving problem by creating product, or you are solving human need problem by creating service? Either of those things, you must sell. Any part of the world you are, you must sell. Without selling, you are not making any meaningful impact, because as you are already find a particular product or service that you want to render. Bear in mind, those services, those products, they need to be seen in the marketplace. The consumer need to use it and then give you the feedback whether it solves their problem or not. So now the question you should ask yourself, once you identify a particular product or a particular service that you want to render, the next thing is it unworkable? What I mean, is it unworkable? Because people here, is the problem or the product has no existing solution work well? For example, most of you use telecom, you use different internet. Most of you can testify there are some internet providers or telecom providers that are horrible out there. That does not mean that if you are going to telecom industry or internet providers creating an internet provision for the public or the consumers, you now look at it whether those who have already in that industry, are they not solving the problem of constant down tune of communication, or poor communication, or probably the the issue of network down almost all the time. So now you now have seen the feedback from the consumer of the existing product. So your job as an entrepreneur or a business who you want to create is to find better quality service that can be much better than the existing one. Then you will end up getting those customers from the existing service provider. So now, is the problem unavoidable? When some people look at in some places and then they come up with services or products. Maybe they want to sell, they rent a shop, or they rent office space. They saw someone doing service, maybe as a consultant, maybe as a service provider, maybe as selling some articles or selling some clothing, and then they go into that business without conducting research. And that's a blunder. That's why you see most of the businesses started, the statistics has it from the business administration in the United States of America, that 90 to say 87 to 90% of the business failed before 5 years. Why? Because people do not sell to the marketplace. Because, like I said from the opening speech, there is no service or product that has not been in the marketplace. So you are coming in, you come in into the marketplace. So you must differentiate yourself from an existing service provider. That's what we're talking about here. So now the question you ask yourself is, customers can't avoid it. Is it unavoidable? Now, use your mind, think about something that human being cannot avoid. Number one is food. Nobody can live without feeding themselves. Nobody can live without water. Of course, water now has alternative. Okay, there are so many products have been built that has a content that serve the purpose of water in the human body. So you look at the product or service you're bringing. Can people live without it? So if they cannot live without it, then Are you offering something different from the existing market? How urgent is the next thing you have to consider? How urgent is it? All right. They need a solution immediately. Okay. For example, we that are in the space of real estate, I use real estate because it's one of the essential needs of human being. The basic need of man is shelter, clothing, and food. After that, the rest of them, whatever you can gain or accumulate on the earth, is just an addition. But once you have shelter on your head, on roof on your head, you have clothing. Next thing is food on the table. So if you are looking to go into some services, look at it. Can people do without it? All right. Can they do without it? So if they cannot do without it, then it becomes essential commodity or essential service. So how urgent do they need it? Do they need it right now? How can they get it? What channel are you going to deploy? Is it until you bring them to their doorstep or through digital process? Are they the things you're creating for automating the business that people can access it from those in the city and those in the remote parts of the city where you live or the country where you live? So those are the things you should be looking at when you're creating service. Now, I'm going just like I said, are they underserved? The large markets lack effective option. The market, for example, gonna use Nigeria, where I come from, is we have over 200 to get into 300 or more million people in Nigeria. So you look at the problems of Nigeria, which is energy crisis. So can people avoid energy? No. Is it affecting the economic development of that nation? Yes. Can it help to trigger growth and increase human capacity and productivity in that nation? Yes. I'm not going to talk about what the politicians are doing because that's not my purpose of this video. My purpose of this video is to give the those who are already in business, those who owners of business, those who want to go into business to create service and product that they can sell in the marketplace. These are my audience, and those are the people I'm talking to. So whatever happens with the political arena stays with the political arena. Again, but it affects us who are the small business owners. Those small, nano to micro business owners. It affects them. So that is why the government should do all they can to put their policies and strategy to be able to have supply of electricity to that nation. Why? Because it is essential need. In fact, if you are able to solve the problem of electricity in any part of the world, you have ended up liberating the people and removing them from poverty line because they will become productive. And then the poverty rate of that nation will decrease because with so many people who were idle will become productive. Because when God created the earth, He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So light is essential. Where there is darkness, a lot of things go wrong. Okay, so you need to have light. All right. Now, having said this, I have given you. Is it unworkable? Is the problem unavoidable? Are, you, are they not reaching the underserved? Are you creating your product to reach the underserved in the society? The underserved in the society are those who live in the local communities. Is it not getting to them? Now, do you want to fill in the gap that exists from those who are already offering the service? Then you create your product around that line. So you now create the marketing channels or funnel to be able to reach those underserved communities. And that's how businesses, wealth is created. So I'm going to go back. Ask yourself, what pain point are my customers experiencing? For those who already have business, and I'm excited to talk to you because these are the things I go every day. The pain point of my customers. And I want to thank those who have been patronizing our services from logistics to tech and digital to real estate, of course, to AIM Global, where we sell franchise development and franchise sales. For franchisor to the franchisee, we help businesses and then make the businesses to become a franchise business model. That's what we do there. We want to thank you for always supporting our services. And we will keep improving. And any area we have not done well, we're looking to find solutions to customize services. And that's my task to this Africa, is to notify businesses, identify the pain points. And we've seen that the challenge of small business in African country is that we have business for AIM Global is from the research work we've conducted from my team in Ghana, in Sierra Leone, in Cameroon, Nigeria, is lack of accessibility to funding. There are so many businesses that have conducted hundreds, hundreds of businesses. The challenge they have is lack of access to funding, lack of training, lack of uh, 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 you know, access to information is difficult in some part of African countries. And then, of course, that does not mean that you will give up. Okay, there are still so many things. Imagine, is it better to, if you say that creation of wealth is expensive, then try poverty. If you say that it's difficult, I wrote an article today before I come to speak to you, that if you say that to create building of wealth is difficult, try poverty. Because I have experienced both of them. That's why I'm speaking to you today. And I know what it means to be poor. I know what it means to have abundance. And that's why to this year, 2025, I've made it as a point of duty out of my busy schedule to speak to you live, unedited. What you're seeing here, no edit, not edited. It's raw and it's pure from my heart speaking to you. And I want you to succeed. And that's why I'm saying this. What gap exists? Listen, my fellow brothers and sisters, whatever service you want to create or want to do, you must look for the gap that exists. Look for the gap. That's where you lash into. That's where you capitalize. As a business, small business or entrepreneur, then look at the gap in the market. The gap is, where are the existing people serving people? What is their complaint? What are the deficiencies? What are the flaws? So now you now form your business, create your business niche around those flaws, those underserved, those complaints. These are your potential customers. So in the marketplace, so we are looking at that, and then you now look at that. Success isn't about creating a product; it's about solving real problem. So customers, they need loyalty. They need you to feel or to fulfill their desires, their yearning for a change. Some of consumers are trapped. So you could be the one that will solve that problem. Right? Just one, your own product or service. Just one. Opportunity addressing these factors gives you a competitive edge. That's what we're talking about here. When once you address that, it gives you a competitive edge. Take example with agricultural sector. Bringing product from the rural farmers to the city is a challenge in some part of Africa. And I'm saying from experience, because there is no good road network. There is a market niche right there. If you can work with the farmers, the rural farmers, and then they produce the products, they plant, they nurture it and harvest it, but they don't have the infrastructure to be able to transport it, the logistics to the city. And that's where the demand is. So imagine if you say there is no job. For example, I'm giving you a tip. And you see, there's no job, right? There's no job. And there's no way in the world that you have enough jobs, okay? Be it in Canada, in the United States of America, or in Australia, or in the UK. The jobs are competitive because of people migrate from different cities or different parts of the world to a particular city. So the job availability is become more competitive. But if you can think outside the box and go to the farmers, have a business agreement, operational agreement, where you transport their crops to the city. Now you've created business niche. By the time you build on that, you now become supplier to those in the marketplace. Then by the time you grow from that level, have customers you've created, now you can begin to find a way to build a storage facility so that you will have constant availability of those products. Not only that, there will be a time as you grow from the consumers, now you go to the industries that will need those products. Some of them are locked up in the village. So these are opportunities. It's not just in Africa as the third world, it's almost every part of the world. And you make a decent income or profit from rendering those services. So let's go ahead. Going. So step two, understand your time really, because you need to know who are those who need you out there. Who are those who are going to buy what you're selling, whether service or product? Who are your products or service for? Define your ideal customer based on your where they live, the demographic, the location, behaviors, their actions, right? And then their needs. What are they lacking? What are the things not enough? Are they not sufficient? The ones available, the ones offering it, they're too expensive. Do you want to come up with an agile way of whereby the price will be more less than what they're paying at the moment with the same quality or even more quality than the existing one in the marketplace? Segment your audience. Example, when I talk about, because I've spoken on different occasions about segmenting your audience, what I mean is divide your audience based on their age, their income, based on their location, based on their interest. Right. That's what we're talking about. So now you now do what we call a, business to business. Are the audience those who are business, or are your audience are those individual in the marketplace? Then you'll be able to know that. And then, of course, the population, you understand them, you have to understand what they need, and you understand their pain. What is the target audience? A target audience, simple. A target audience is going of people, is group of people who are most likely to be interested in your product or service, determined by demographic characterizations. You characterize them, and then you begin to iterate. You go from there. Example, by the end of this section, you should be able to visualize, understand the audience, who are your ideal customers. You should be able to have an idea of who are those. So that question should be asking, what? That's the question. What do they need? Do you have solution to it? If it is lack of electricity or lack of um, you know house accommodation, space accommodation, so you create a very affordable accommodation for 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, for working class, for civil servant, and then from there you build a very affordable houses. That's when you now we are looking at investing in a real estate, or you're going to real estate business, which is very one of the most reliable and stable industry globally. So you now identify, what do you want to do? How do you want to problem do you want to solve there? Because all over the world there are real estates, global real estates, and local players of real estates. So you are not coming in as the only person in that industry, but you are coming in identify what the particular sector or the particular in that real estate. Are you going to be building for luxury apartment? Are you going to be building for working class or civil servants? So you now identify what exactly are your targeted audience. Who are there? Specific. Look at them. Whether you are in the service industry or in your producing, you must identify who you are serving. Who are there? So why it is important to understand your targeted audience? It is very, very important. Very, very important to understand your targeted audience. I'm going to end within the next couple of minutes. So, step 3, users versus customers. Those who use your product and those who buys your product or buy your product. There are people who buy your product, they're not users of your product. Try to understand that. So understand users of your product or service and customers who pay for it. It is very vital, as this dynamics helps in tailoring your marketing and sales strategy effectively. So you need to identify them. Step 5, create a customer empathy. This is important. This is important. That's where you visualize. That's where you think. Critical thinking comes in. That's why you map out who you want an ideal customer. From day one of your business or service or product, you create mapping strategy of the ideal customer. So they create a customer empathy map. That's what we call it. This is step 4 that I'm giving you right now. Your team should apply this to visualize what a user think, goals, and challenges. All right. Okay. Feel frustration, decision, or desires. What do they desire? What do they say? This is what we're talking about today. What did they say? What did they desire? What are they talking about? So where did they live? And all of that. So in doing that, you build your product, you visualize your ideal customer, and then you go to get those customers. So if you do that, there's a possibility of you scaling up your business and having more revenue or profit than those who do not do all of these things. So step 5, build MVP, product, or MVS. MVP is the most viable product, and then MVS is the most viable service. That's what we're talking about here. I hope you get what I'm saying here. So you try all of those things to build the most viable product in the marketplace. Everything we're talking about, and I've said here, is for you to be intentional, to target your audience, and not just for the sake of you see your uncle, you see your cousin, they're doing something, your mom, your dad, you jump into the business. Please take time to research those businesses. If you fail to do that, you're going to face challenge at the end of the day. So once you do the MVP or MVIs, is the simplest version of your products or services that solves the core problem. Test and iterate is very important. Gather real world feedback. Improve based on insight. A prototype would be very good if you're building an app or product. So these are the things I'm speaking today. So a recap. Number one, like I said from the beginning of my presentation, which is you must identify, define the problem you are addressing and the opportunity. One. Then, in doing that, every great product or services, like I said from my beginning, I'm rounding up right now, solve a particular problem. They have specific something they want to address. So you must make sure you have that. Are they unworkable from the existing one? Are they unavoidable? Can't consumers avoid it or customers? Urgent. Are they needed right now? You need to know that. And then if they're needed right now, do you have the solution to the marketplace? Underserved. Are there people who are finding it difficult to access those services? Or probably they're getting it at a poor level? This is important. Now, ask yourself, what pinpoint are my customers experiencing presently? The customers you have, if you own a business, what are the things they complain about of your service or product that they buy from you? Address it, don't ignore it. That's why you see you need to create customer service unit. That unit will be able to address the challenges, the complaint, the feedback from the users of your product or the users of your service, whether it's MVS or MVP. It is important that we get this right because we want you to succeed. Our job as consultant is to make sure that you succeed. Whether you own a business, whether you're trying to get into create one business or the other, whether you have created one and you're trying to add another one, we want you to succeed. We want you to build a unique product, a unique experience for your customers so they can have great referral from your service or product. This is how it all starts. Okay. So you ask yourself what gap exists in the marketplace right now, and how am I coming in to solve those problems? The step two I said is understand your target audience. That's the step two that I'm talking about. Understand who you want to offer service. You understand their demographic, their age, their behavior, the way they live, their income. Now that will help you to create your price matrix. It is important we have that at the back of our mind because most people rush into business. They do not take time to put things that are germane, that are important, that will help you to scale and to be able to pass those who are already in the business for decades. Because most of them jump into business without taking time to research and do due diligence and have market analysis of that particular sector before they jump into it. And there's still so many people who are in business right now. They think they're making money, meanwhile they don't have good account or records that will be able to help them. I have been there and I know what I'm talking about. They are making money, but they do not have accounting system. Okay, no accounting system in place. It's the of husband and wife, father and mother, uncle and cousin, and that's how the business is just moving from one place to another, from one no orderliness, no intentional, calculated effort to position your business, whether you are in the marketplace, you have a shop, you work for somebody, and then there is no record, so whatsoever. And some of you have businesses, you do not have account linked to that business. Imagine if there is opportunity for you to bid for a project. Imagine if there is a contract that comes your way. The first thing they ask you is your business account, is your business name. Please do yourself a special favor. by creating your business in a basic, these are basic, the minimum basic step you should incorporate that business before you even say you want to make it a very service or create any product. The first thing you do is to incorporate the business. Incorporation of businesses are very easy all over the world. Just go to, whether you are from Nigeria, CAC.com, you can register your business online. If you're in the US, there's business administrations from different states of the United States of America. They welcome businesses who want to build, to create their businesses. That's what the country is based or built by small business owners. SMEs all over the world, same thing in Canada and in the UK. They have bunch of trainings, bunch of services from veteran that help to build businesses and make sure that the businesses survive and not to die. That is the work of every government. Unfortunately, in some African countries, they kill business, they kill dreams, and they need to stop this madness because businesses backbone of every economy. The reason why you're having all kind of inflation, hyperinflation is because you have literally killed small businesses that the catalyst or the vehicle that built from the bottom up of every economy. An effort should be made to stop madness that is happening, especially in the rural areas, state, local government. That's why it is good when you now experience both sides of life, from the advanced economy to the underdeveloped nations. You discover the disparity. It is huge. It is huge. And no wonder a lot of people are frustrated. And those people are not frustrated because they want frustration in their life. Is the environmental degradation, environmental problems that have accumulated. So now, step 3, like I said, users versus customers. Those are the people you'll be going, those who use their product and those customers who buys the product. Most times those who buy are not the product. For example, business to business and business to consumers, a different thing altogether. B2B and B2C. So it depends on who are your customers that you want to target. You want to offer your services to those businesses, or you want to offer it to those who use the product. So you need to design that. That would be you who wants to go into business. It's not to be, you have to be intentional, you have to plan. If you do not plan, you plan to fail. And that's the problem that we do have in Africa, unfortunately. So we do not want to take time to do critical thinking. We want other people to think for us. We want other people to take our own responsibility. Life does not happen that way. Brothers, sisters, please. If you go to the United States or the US or Canada, you see the Asians, they're coming to build business. In most of the African countries who go to the overseas, about say 5% create businesses. The rest of them are just to work, pay a bill, buy vehicles, build houses in their back home. That's all. Train their children. Meanwhile, you find yourself in an environment organized. Everything you need is there. Now think. Most of you were walking back home when you left the shore of your business. You have forecasts. So the first thing you should be yourself, and I'm giving you a very critical advice. Most of you will not get this over there because you are we are consumed by how to pay bills, and I know it's very essential that we work and pay bills. But while working, we can create opportunity to attend conferences, attend seminars, and connect and network where you can learn how to run businesses in those countries. They want you to do business, to create business and jobs. Every in advanced economy will give you everything you need to succeed once you can create businesses and then create jobs. Okay, because once you create business, you're not only the one who's going to work on that business, you create jobs. If not one, if 3 to 5, and the government is there to support you with soft loans, SMEs loans, loans, long-term loan that can be able for you to build whatever sector you want to, and then create a customer empathy map. That's the number 4, as I gave you. The step 5, build an MVP, minimum viable product, or MVS, minimum viable service. Thank you so much once again. Like I said, this video is 45 minutes, and then on the dot, I'm stopping right now. I want to thank you for listening, and I want you to watch this to the end. My name is Mali Tochupo. You can type my name, you can visit my bio, click to follow, like, and then share. I'm going to be giving you this for free, and then job is to implement what I have taught you before you go into that business. So if you're already in business, they're not making sales, I am available. Click on my bio. You can schedule 45 minutes free, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak. If you're already in business, you're not making sales, you do not you want to scale up your business, or you want to expand your business overseas, or you want to buy an existing business that's franchise or that business brokerage. Okay, we're available at AM Global, and they're available for whatever you want, logistics for your services, whatever the service, or you want tech or digital services, we're available to offer you. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. Yes.